Hello guys, my name is Troy and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up, telling you guys about the 3 books I read in February, and then at the end picking my favorite and my top recommendation for you guys if you are looking for recommendations. Now I know a lot of you know, but 3 books is not a normal amount of books that I read in a month. I usually read a lot more. Like in January I read 5, but this month I did have some trouble, some stress, and just a lot of issues around reading. I got into a reading slump, and you can see more details about it in this video. I highly detail what is going on with that month and how I got into my reading slump. You can check out that video if you want to know specifically. But in short, I had a lot of projects, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of stress going on in my life, and I just didn't have the time for reading. So I had to develop a new reading strategy to even get a little reading done. It was crazy. Hopefully March will be better, but yeah. So today I'm going to be going over those 3 books, then I'm going to go into my favorite, and then we'll wrap up this video. It's going to be super fun. A lot of these books were really good, so make sure you take notes next time you go to the library. I don't know. Before we do go into this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel down below, and also comment below if you've seen these books, read these books, or want to read these books in the future. Alright, let's get right into the video. The first book I read this month was Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This book was amazing. I rated it 5 stars. I totally recommend it for anyone that is looking for kind of a futuristic sci-fi kind of thing. I love it so much. I also read this all in one day, so I definitely binge read this book because it was so good. So let me tell you a little bit about it. This book is set in the future where humans have conquered death, hunger, anything that can really cause death or pain in this world. And so now human overpopulation is becoming a problem, and so there are these people called Scythes who have to glean people, basically kill people from the world because, no one else can, and so they have to control the human population by killing a certain amount of people each year, a certain quota, like 250. And so we're following Citra and Rowan, which are approached by a Scythe to be apprentices, and so this book follows these 2 main characters as they learn about the Scythe history and, about how to kill people, and they have all these kind of ethical questioning inside their head, and then also is brought up that they are competing for the spot. And so then there's this interesting kind of technique where they're both trying to fit the spot of the Scythe and have to, overdo each other. And it's amazing to see this kind of competition grow and all these twists. This book was amazing, guys. I totally recommend. The one thing that I really liked about this book was the futuristic aspect. I really liked how there's that concept that when problems are solved, new problems arise. So, death was solved, but now new problems arise. The human population is overcrowding, and so they need to kill off people. I just liked that kind of aspect, and that's also an issue in our world, guys. Our population is booming, and so I think this is something that probably will happen, in the future, and we just got to be wary of that. And I think this book was just a great kind of eye-opener to that. And then I also just really love the twists and the characters, and there's a little bit of romance, and I like the aspect as it went simple. It was that simple at the start. But as we go on, there's these cracks and twists, and everything just turns a lot darker, and there's uproots, and there's emotional cases and all kind of crazy stuff that happens, and it's amazing. I also really like the culture. I also really like the culture of this novel. It was something that I, was found really unique. Scythes, they had all this different cultures and normal people, and even just people in the future, they had different kind of, traditions and stuff because they didn't die. And so there's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes down in this book, guys. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for a fun, binge-worthy novel, this is something I would totally recommend, guys. I don't know why I put it off so long. Totally pick up Scythe by Neil Shusterman. The next book that I finished this month was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I read this in my Snow Day reading blog if you want to go check out that video. But in this book, we are set, first we are set in the prologue, and that is when the main character Jude was 7, when her parents were murdered and she was kidnapped into the fairy world. So she went from the human world to the fairy world. And this book takes place 7 years after that, where Jude is finally fitting into this family, but she wants to belong in the fairy court and in the fairy world because she feels like she's just been disrespected for being mortal, because these fays do really despise humans, especially Prince Cardan, one prince who just is very young and wicked and is the youngest son of the High King. And so to win a place at the High Court and to earn her place, as a knight or just have power, she needs to defy him and face the consequences. And so this book is so amazing. This book is more of a political book, is what I keep saying, and I think that is, what it is. So it's kind of more about like power in this world and how Jude must kind of defy Prince Cardan and gain her spot. And there's just a lot of kind of fun elements like romance and twists, and there's even this cool element brought in that I just really liked. That's kind of a spoiler item. The only negative thing I have this book is there's just the repetition with Prince Cardan and Jude. Their interactions were constantly, and this is not really a spoiler, but they were just constantly, you know, nabbing at each other throughout the whole book, and Prince Cardan would just be mocking her throughout the whole book. And it just got old after a while because it was more of just them fighting for the whole book than nothing else. And so I would like that to be revised, but everything else, I love the twists. I love the political elements. It was amazing. I'd probably rate this book 4.5 stars. Another thing I really liked about this book was the world building and the characters. First, the characters, they were just so well developed, and you could kind of feel their struggles, and you would rooting for their characters, and when they would get into a bad situation, you would be like, oh no, get out of it, no, fight. And so I really liked that aspect, that I was like rooting for the characters. I'd grown attachments to characters. And then the world building, just I loved the world, the Fairy Courts. It's different than the Court of Thorns and Roses world. I thought like Fae were kind of universal, but Fae are just different in every kind of way. And I just loved how like the Faes were different, and there was like goblins and different creatures, although we didn't really expand that much on it, but there was cool worlds and cool plants and poisons, and there was just so much, you know, to learn about the world, and I really enjoyed that, and especially like the geography and stuff like that. I loved learning about it. And there is even a map, which I actually totally did not look at throughout the whole time of me reading this book, when I should have, because I got confused. But yeah, this map is so beautiful, and I just really love it. So yeah, The Cruel Prince was very good. I definitely recommend if you're interested into a fantastical political novel with full of twists and kind of characters and some darker tones. I love it. Someone actually mentioned in the comments like the irony that this book cover is white when there's so dark kind of tones in it, and I really like that comment. It was very accurate. This is a very dark book. Anyways, I feel like I've been rambling on too much. Let's get into my last book that I read this month. Okay, so the last book that I read this month was Three Dark Crowns. This was probably just a 3-star book because it didn't have any substance. It was just an average book that I didn't really like that much. So let's just kind of talk about what the back says, and let me tell you about what the back is saying that is not true. So, in every generation of the island of Fenburn, a set of triplets is born. 3 queens, all equal heirs to the crown, and each possessor of a coveted magic. Mirabella is an elemental, able to spark hungry flames or vicious storms at the snap of her fingers. Catherine is a poisoner, one who can ingest the deadliest poisons without so much as a stomachache. Arinso, a naturalist, is said to have the ability to bloom the reddest rose and control the fiercest of lions. But becoming the queen crowned isn't solely a matter of royal birth. Each sister has to fight for it. And it's not just a game of win or lose, it's a life or death. The night the sisters turn 16, the battles begin. The last queen standing gets the crown. So I got really hyped reading the synopsis. I was like, yeah, until I read the book. This book was hugely misadvertised. This book wasn't about this competition. It was all like taking place before the competition. Like, what? And these 3 very powerful queens are not powerful at all. Like the stomachache thing, no, Catherine does get stomach aches. And Arinso, she can't do anything. And Mirabella, she can't even think about killing people because she's getting nightmares of killing people. These 3 queens are like powerless, and the whole book is taking place with like their advisors trying to kill off the other queens, and it's just not like even a competition, and it's like all this fluffy before stuff. Like they all have to like, you know, train for the competition, and they all have to do these weird ceremonies. Like it's just not, it's not a good book. It's not a good book. I don't recommend this at all. It was really boring. I fell asleep to it a lot. It was unnecessary. I don't think the story was just very good. I just don't think the story was very good. That's my basic thoughts. A lot of misadvertising with this book and making it seem better than it was. And I just want to see an actual competition with these 3 queens. But yeah, I mean, I did like some elements like fantasy and like the medieval feel and the romance, but that was about it, guys. I didn't love the actual plot or the substance of the story. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Did not like this book. I might even rate this a 2 stars. It just wasn't great. So now it is time for Troy's pick of the month, my favorite out of these 3. Which one would I recommend to you if I could only recommend one? And I don't know if this came across as pretty obvious in my, you know, me talking about these books, but Scythe was just so much better than all the rest. I would definitely recommend Scythe for you guys, and it is my favorite of the month. Scythe was such an awesome book. I loved the concept of it. I loved learning about this futuristic dystopian-ish world and these new mechanisms mechanisms of killing, because guys, this will be seen in the future. I just love these future books because they bring up all like the ethical topics that, you know, we're gonna have to dive into in the future. Like, for example, a huge topic right now is cloning. People are actually able to like clone things. Like in China, they've started to clone mouses and stuff, and there's just this whole ethical dilemma. If like in the future we clone humans to make them live longer, will it be like ethical to kill off the clone or the original? And so there's just all this cool stuff in this book with all this future. Like there's always, you know, problems that arise when solutions are provided. So like when death is solved, there has to be another problem, which is overpopulation, and this book deals a lot with it. And I just love all the ethical questioning, and I love all the history of the Scythes and the new fun ways of killing. And I just really loved this story, and like as it went on, the plot twists, everything was amazing. I just fell in love with Scythe, and I was glad I was just able to binge it in one day. It was an amazing book, and I totally recommend you guys read this. Like seriously, pick it up. Scythe by Neil Shusterman. So guys, that wraps up this video. I really enjoyed telling you about these 3 books. I'm just kind of ready to get out of February, so I'm gonna just finish this video, and then I'm ready to just go into March, because my reading month wasn't that great. My month in general wasn't that great, so I'm just ready for March and for spring. I am going on vacation from March like 7th to the 14th. I'll get more information to you guys about that in a bit, but you'll still see videos from me, but I won't be responding to comments. But don't worry, this video is perfectly fine. I'll be responding to comments. Just in the future, I'll tell you about my upcoming trip. So yeah, overall, March is going to be very exciting. Again, if you guys like this video, please hit that like button. That really does like show me that you like this video and that you want more videos of these types, and it just makes me happy to see your like. Comment down below what you thought of this video. I'd really appreciate hearing what you think. I love just hearing your guys' thoughts and responding back to you. It's a fun little conversation. I love doing it. So keep up the great comments. Your comments are so motivating and positive. I just love them so much. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel down below. Click that subscribe button. Also click that notification bell so you guys can get notified when I upload videos, and you can watch them as soon as they come out, guys. I noticed that a lot of my views actually come like hours later after I upload the video, so make sure you have notifications turned on so you can just come straight when it uploads. So you can also go surfing through your subscription feed. And also check out my last video up there. It was a snow day reading vlog. It was so cozy. It was so wonderful. I had a blast. I mean, I spent like 1 hour, almost like an hour editing the first minute of that video. It is so beautiful, so cozy. I loved that winter reading vlog, so I totally recommend you guys check that out. And I think that wraps it up, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of your February, and I'll see you in March. Bye guys, love you.